60 Weather Center forecast. Cloudy, rather warm, breezy. Could be a shower today, high 78. 62 at O'Hare. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
From the Matrix Home Solutions Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com. You can win $12,000 towards the purchase of a new car or to cover your existing car payments just by doing acts of kindness. Learn more at 560theanswer.com/kindness.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. You have to listen to Cecilia Rouse. She is the White House's top econ advisor. She's the chairman of the White House Council of Economic Advisors. And she was on with Rachel Maddow or Chris Hayes. I don't know. They look alike. I can never tell the two apart. On MSNBC, trying to sell the $2 trillion in funny money for infrastructure. Infrastructure redefined, expansive understanding of infrastructure. You know, that definitely includes roads and bridges, but of course, it necessarily includes investment in human capital, including bringing the shadow infrastructure out into the light. Listen to this.
For what? For centuries, when women were providing most of the care in the home, and the man, this is just traditional, stereotypical, was working outside of the home, there was kind of shadow infrastructure being provided by that woman. She was taking care of the children. She was taking care of their elders. Now many women would like to work outside of the home, but somebody still needs to take care of the children, needs to take care of the elders. When we think about our population in particular, over the next, 10 years, we know that a growing proportion of the workforce will be retiring, will be reaching retirement age. But in the next decade or so, the fraction of our population that is over the age of 85 will increase by a third. And we need to be taking care of our elders. So A, someone needs to be taking care of them for women to be able to work, disproportionately women. But B, we're actually proposing to be that there are jobs that will be created in taking care of people who deserve to be taken care of with dignity in their elder years. So it's part of infrastructure because we need these kinds of jobs, this kind of care to enable disproportionately women to actually go to work, just like I need the road outside of my house in order to get to my job.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So this Margaret Atwood character makes the argument, essentially, if I could boil it down. For centuries, women provided shadow infrastructure, which once upon a time we called raising children.
Thank you.
Now that's the state's job. Welcome to Plato's Republic. For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by Steve Moore, Wall Street Journal columnist, economist, Trumponomics author. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hi, guys. Good morning.
Morning. It's the state's job to raise children and take care of your elderly parents or grandparents, so that women can work, and this is what, in part, is included in that $2 trillion quote-unquote infrastructure bill, and this is very forward-thinking.
Well, a couple things. First of all, the left is really, really good at coming up with euphemisms. So their new one is human infrastructure. And by the way, they want to spend. I want your listeners to understand. So they have $2.25 trillion for the infrastructure bill, which is basically the green energy bill, right? It's not an infrastructure bill. It's basically it's more Solyndra. Remember Solyndra? We're going to have 1,000 Solyndras under this bill. And then people don't realize, I didn't even realize this till a couple of days ago, that they also want another $2 trillion. By the way, on top of the $2 trillion that we already passed last month for the COVID relief, and this $2 trillion is for this term, human infrastructure. And I was on a Fox show last week, and I was on with some liberal, and she was using this term, human infrastructure. I said, what does that mean? I've never heard that before. Oh, this is Medicaid and home health care and child care and things of that nature. And I'm kind of old fashioned. And Amy, when I think of infrastructure, I think, oh, they're going to fix the bridges, they're going to fix the potholes. But now infrastructure is everything. But wait, there's another great, interesting point about this. First of all, their idea is let's get these kids and parents out of the hands of the unprofessionals, the parents,
Totally.
and let's have the professionals take care of them. Just like, because, they've done such a great job with our 10 to 18-year-olds in the schools, we might as well have them, take care of the kids when they're 2 and 3 and when they're, 80 and to 100 years old. But did you also know that this bill requires that all of these workers be members of the Service Employees Union? And
that's what Governor Quinn did here in Illinois. Yep, he tried to do that too.
Yeah, but by the way, it's even worse than this. Even if you're a family member taking care of your parent and you're taking Medicaid money, you have to join the union. I'm not making this stuff up, folks. These people are freaking crazy.
Well, and this is an opportunity for litigation, because if that were to pass on a roll call on a straight party line vote, the Harris v. Quinn Supreme Court decision suggests that would be unconstitutional. But your point is well taken. This is what they're doing.
Dan, when has that ever stopped these people?
Well, it doesn't stop that. It doesn't stop them, but no, I know. No, I know they don't, but we do, and this is the avenue we need to use to stop them. What we need to use, the avenues that are available. Obviously, Congress and the White House are not avenues that are available.
Yeah, but Dan, you also don't understand these people. I mean, look, we used to kind of laugh on the show, and at some of the dingbat ideas that AOC and Bernie Sanders came up with. These people are serious, folks. I mean, they're deadly serious. So they do. They want to get rid of the filibuster. They want to change the election laws, and I take them seriously. I think they're going to pack the Supreme Court, and then we're not going to have people who believe in the Constitution. I mean, they're out of control. These are like wild animals let out of a cage that are so drunk with power. They want to get rid of all the checks and balances, all the rules that we've operated under for 200 years, so they can transform our country. And these. I don't know if you're a Biden voter. Is this what you signed up for? I mean, because it is lunatic, in my opinion.
Well, Stephen Moore, I thought of you because Biden's infrastructure plan includes corporate tax hike, and I thought, Stephen Moore's head's going to explode.
Well, Amy, I mean, this one is maddening too. I mean, we came in. Look, the reason we cut our corporate tax rate, folks, on American companies was not because we love corporations. I don't even like some of these American corporations that much anymore. But we wanted America to be competitive. It was that simple. The United States had the highest corporate tax rate in the world. We talked about this for years on your show, and the rest of the world was down at around 20 to 25%. We were at about 35%. It was like a 10% Head Start program for every country we were competing with, and we were losing jobs and we were losing factories and businesses because of it. And so, Trump understood that. We cut the rate to make America more competitive. We went from the highest in the world to slightly below the international average. And lo and behold, all sorts of companies and all sorts of capital flowed back into the United States. We had about $1 trillion that came, and that $1 trillion is a lot of money. And so now Biden wants to take the United States back up to being the highest corporate tax rate country in the world. And, by the way, I mean, these people are so devious. They want to, have you seen this one, Dan? They want to have a global tax system. So because they, when they were asked, well, gee, aren't the companies going to move out again? Oh, no, we're not going to let them. We're going to force every other country to raise their taxes, too. The left doesn't like tax competition. I like it. I think that's what restrains government. They've argued for 30 years that taxes don't matter. They understand that taxes do matter. So the way they're going to get around that is to force every country to have high taxes. This is a system of global government that I think we should, be abhorred by, frankly.
I wanted to get your take on one observation about what the next couple of quarters may look like, what the rest of this year looks like before some of these policies really overcome the lag effect and are in force. Yeah. This is from a economic advisor, Joel Ross at Citadel Realty. I remain convinced the economy will grow by at least 7% in Q2, maybe even 8-9% in Q3 once the canal and supply lines are brought back to normal for things like chips. The amount of consumer savings is estimated to top $5 trillion. And he goes on to say consumer debt is even in better shape. There's a huge wealth effect from the extraordinary rise in home values and stock prices. Our hotels, restaurants, more or less fully open. Vaccines, the majority by mid-May. Travel once again be very active. The problem remains that house prices are now up over 11% year to year. So the combo of rates and costs is going to hold down housing development below what the demand would suggest. And it seems like we're getting close to break point on these home values. So essentially what he sees is there's a lot of good news in the very, very short term, and you're going to have a wealth effect from all the funny money for the next couple of quarters. But to come 2022, particularly if the Green New Deal, human infrastructure, tax increases that we were just talking about are passed, then you're going to have the bottom fall out of the economy.
Well, I'm not too far from that in my thinking. I do think, that we're going to see really strong growth. By the way, we had a blockbuster jobs report on Friday, and I wrote in our hotline, yesterday, hey, Washington, are you paying attention? We don't need any more, quote, stimulus. The economy is healing on its own just fine. The vaccine is the stimulus. The vaccine is the stimulus. The stimulus is the vaccine. Spending all this money has nothing to do with a recovery. And so we're going to have a strong second half of the year, I believe. And then I think there is a hangover effect. I think there will. What I don't know, Dan and Amy, is, and I don't think anybody knows, is when the crash is going to come. I don't know if it comes in 22 and 23. I don't know how lagged the effect is. But this is
just on that score, Steve. If I can interrupt, I mean, Moody's is forecasting the stock market to drop 20% in 2022.
Wow. I mean, that's a big correction. I think it could be slightly lower. I think it could be 25 to 30%. I mean, we've seen these, folks. Let's not forget. Unless people do forget what happened in 2008 and 9 when the United States government built up the housing bubble. Remember that? And we saw, I think more like a 30, 40% correction. Don't forget what happened, with the high tech bubble when, people, some of those tech stocks went from, lost 100% of their value, but, you saw, 50, 60% reductions in some of those stocks. So I just don't know when it's going to come, but bills have to be paid. There is no such thing as free money. There's no, debts have to be repaid, and there is a hangover effect. And so I think we're really hurting our financial future in this country by spending all this money, which is unnecessary. I mean, you're going to see interest rates climb up. You're going to start to see some inflation. I know that there's not a lot of inflation out there right now, but wouldn't it be smarter, by the way, if we're going to spend $2 trillion, why don't we spend it on something that has instead of spending money on Solyndra, and daycare subsidies, why don't we privatize our Social Security system and finally get rid of this, pay-as-you-go system that's going bankrupt? Why don't we have a flat tax? Why don't we finance a flat tax at 18%? There's a transition cost. It'll cost maybe $1 trillion to do that, but then we'll have the greatest tax system in the history of the world forever. I mean, I'm not even that opposed to borrowing. What I'm opposed to doing is borrowing for things that have no return. There's no return on green energy. 98% of the cars on the road today, 98%, I was just reading this statistic this morning, have a combustible engine. They're not electric vehicles. We may go to, 90% over the next 10 years, but that still means 90% of cars are going to need gas stations. By the way, did you guys see the left now doesn't want to build any more gas stations in America?
Oh, yeah.
And so my point is, we're going to use gasoline for the next 25 years, folks. We're going to use it. It's a question of whether we get the gasoline from Oklahoma and Texas and North Dakota, or do we get it from Russia and Saudi Arabia? I mean, that's the question to be asked. Let's put our big boy pants on and not have this fantasy that we're going to go to zero fossil fuels. And so I'm just disturbed that this is putting America last, not putting America first.
Steve Moore, Wall Street Journal columnist, economist, and Trumponomics author. Steve, thanks as always.
Okay, guys, have a great week.
You too.
It's human infrastructure. That's the new term for the day.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
If you purchase your own health insurance, I have some great news. From now until August 15th, the health insurance exchanges are open again. And even if you've never qualified for a health insurance subsidy before, you most likely will now. The American Rescue Plan signed on March 11th expanded subsidy eligibility to millions of Americans who have never qualified before, even to those with high income levels and especially those between the ages of 50 and 65. Those who qualify for unemployment benefits are now guaranteed the lowest priced plan. Employers who provide small group coverage also have new options, and so do seniors looking for Medicare supplement coverage. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. Your own health insurance mentor, C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com, is someone I know and trust. He's a 25-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for 10 years. Tell them how they can get in touch with you, Steve.
Thanks, Dad. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-500-5588. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-500-5588 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-500-5588 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-500-5588.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I am 78 years old and have a bad back, bad knees, bad everything. If I didn't take Balance of Nature, I would be in bed all the time. It's allowed me to have better health, better mobility. I feel better. I just love it. I take it every day religiously. My brother takes it. His daughter takes it.
Yeah.
It's really a blessing. It really is. So God bless you people. God bless the doctor. I am so appreciative.
Get a wide variety of all your daily recommended servings of whole fruits and